The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds where the sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. All right, 14:20 in the morning for this 28th day of December 2024. The days are dwindling down to a precious few on this year 2024. Remember, today's show, as always, brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420 SEAT at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase over there at SeatGeek. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to BellyUpSports.com for all of their great articles and other podcasts as well. Lots going on behind the scenes of the Belly Up world as well. But geez, I don't know what to say. It's not what you want. It was not a good display. But I'm talking obviously Team Canada losing 4 to Latvia last night, 3-2 in a shootout. We'll get to the shootout in half a second. That was disgusting to watch, that whole rigmarole going on. But Canada loses. They got goalied a little bit last night. Gave us 50 some shots and plus the eight shots in the shootout, and they got goalied a little bit. Feldberg was really, really good. He had to make a few tough saves, but not a lot of tough saves. The Latvians, they worked hard. They kept the Canadians to the outside. A lot of shots from Neverland that weren't going to go in, but Canada got they got goalied, and that's just how things go sometimes. They just didn't produce enough high scoring chances for what they should have been doing. They didn't get enough inside shots. They didn't do enough to get that game won. And a team with that many draft picks and not any 16-year-olds like Latvia had, Canada should win that game 10 times out of 10, especially after last year. Canada's a different team every year, but Canada wins that game 10-0, 41-4 over the other times they met in the long illustrious history of the World Junior Championships, but it wasn't meant to be for Canada last night. And you kind of got that feeling early how that game was kind of going, that Canada didn't really have a lot going offensively. And then there was a late breakaway chance by Latvia. They said, you know what, we're in this thing. They come and get me. You guys aren't better than us. You're not going to beat us tonight. We're going to be Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed kind of a situation in Rocky once, and I'm not going down without a fight. And the Latvians didn't, and Canada didn't have a lot of pushback all game long. It was a really poor display, I thought, by the coaching staff. 0 for 6 on the power play, took 7 or 8 penalties of their own. It was just a bad display of leadership, I thought, on the part of Team Canada and Coach Dave Cameron. Even after the game, I didn't really like his response, basically saying, they give them all they want, give them all they have, all they can do. They was give them credit, and the way it went. And I thought that's a bad look, Cameron. Call your team out a little bit. Say we didn't play hard enough, because even before the game started, the commentaries were saying that Latvia, it's going to work really hard, and we got to match that work ethic. So if you have a little bit of work ethic last night, Canada wins that game. Yeah, they put up a bunch of shots and everything else, but they didn't do enough to win that hockey game last night, and that's the way it turned out. And it was, like I said, it was a poor effort, I thought, on behalf of Team Canada, and I thought it was a poor coaching display by Dave Cameron. I've never really been a Cameron guy. He's kind of hovered around the junior hockey realm for a really long time, and he's just not as doesn't have the motivation it could be. And now, like we talked earlier on, and we're not going to get negative, because we talked about the World Juniors being two nights ago, it was the greatest thing in the world. It was a lot of fun watching that game against the Finns, but of course Canada wins. So I'm not going to be a fair weather fan by any means, but Canada just didn't look like were going to get anything going last night, and they didn't. They just flat out didn't, and giving up those late power play goals. And maybe it's my fault, because I was watching the game somewhere else, and I thought, well, it's 1-0, nothing's going to happen here. Then I leave, and so you should never leave the establishment that you're watching something at till it's over. So I got to get back home, and all of a sudden it's 2-2. You're like, what the hell is going on here? Canada just didn't get any scoring opportunities. They're a young team. Their young guys were some of their better players, and that's not a good thing. McKenna's a hell of a talent, obviously, but it's an 18, 19-year-old tournament, but Latvia had a bunch of 16-year-olds. So I don't know what's going on. Let's get to the shootout a little bit. I thought that every one of the Canadian shooters didn't know what they were doing. They were trying to be the smartest man in the room, highlight reels, YouTube sensations, Instagram shots, whatever you want to call it. I thought that every one of those players, but from Team Canada, embarrassed themselves with the way they went down the ice and didn't think it looked like they didn't have a clue what they were doing. It looked like they didn't want to score. It looked like they were more worried about clickbait and everything else and trying to just put the puck in the net, go down, fire the thing, and score a goal. Like the old hockey used to be. Just go down, don't be fancy, stick kind of a little bit, make a move on the goal, and shoot the damn thing. Easton Cowan, like if that would have happened. And we'll get to 1994 team, the 30 years ago. It's crazy to how that going. If you think that Easton Cowan, what he tried last night with the Patrick Kane move, if that would never have happened 30 years ago. That kid would have never seen the ice ever again. That was a disgusting display of, I don't know what the hell that was. Smartest man in the room, spoiled brat. I don't know what the heck that was. It was an awful display. It's worked before, but that guy's name's Patrick Kane. Easton Cowan's not Patrick Kane. So don't do that. It was awful. It was an absolutely awful, disgusting display that I don't know what they were trying to do. And who was the other kid? I can't even think of his name right now for whatever reason it might be. I have it written down. Richie, the faking the shot and pretending he fanned on it and then getting the second shot over. Quit it. Shoot the damn thing. The puck will always move faster than the goalie ever can. Trust me, I was a goalie. Wasn't very good, but I was a goalie. Shoot the damn puck. Get out, get down. Elevate it, make a move, do a little dipsy doodle, make a move, put the puck in the top shelf where mama keeps the cookies. Simple. Quit being the smartest damn kid in the frickin' room. All these kids, those kids they'd sit because they're playing Germany tomorrow and they should win that hockey game. They should have won last night, obviously, too. But I think that those two guys, Richie and Cowan, you know what? Have a seat. Have a seat. This isn't about you. This is not about you, kid. Have a seat. This is about the crest on your chest. And you trying to pull this crap off in a shootout when you didn't do much during the game. Richie scored a goal earlier on. I think Cowan did get an assist, but you didn't do a whole bunch during the game. And all of a sudden you want to be Wayne frickin' Gretzky. Now all of a sudden you want to be a YouTube sensation, get all the clicks on TikTok, whatever it might be, because it might look cool. Quit it. Quit it. The chips are down, you get it done. And Canada didn't get it done last night, and they got to figure this out. I mean, the game in big picture, Canada would have won, like Jeff O'Neill said last night on the post game, and he was on that team in 94. We'll get to that in a second. But the chips are down. Canada just didn't get it done. And you thought that, okay, they're going to get a goal. They're going to figure this out. They're going to get something done, and they're going to score a goal, and they'll end up winning this hockey game. It just didn't happen. Like, it just didn't happen. It's just one of those games that it gets away from you. You kind of felt, like I said earlier on, in that first period when they were getting Rocky Balboa a little bit, and the Latvians just didn't back down. The Latvians just kept working and kept working and kept working. And hard work will always beat talent when talent's not working, right? I mean, 50 shots, yeah, but like perimeter shots, everything else. And Canada just didn't seem to have that killer instinct. That's 2 years in a row now. They finished in fifth last year, and now the pressure's on for them to get something done tomorrow evening against the Germans. Because, like, in big picture, like if they beat Germany, and then it's going to come down to that game on New Year's Eve. So it doesn't hurt a whole bunch. Yeah, you don't want to lose to Latvia. Yeah, you don't want to lose games in a tournament. Yeah, it all comes down to seedings. You don't want to play in that elimination game. You want to get to a certain level. So beating the Americans, if they can beat the Americans on New Year's Eve, then this game that we're talking about right now doesn't mean a whole lot. Like, it doesn't mean a whole lot to anybody but the Latvians. Yeah, it's something you don't want it to have on your resume, but it happened, and just one of those things. I like that. Tyler Mullendyke, he said it was devastating to lose that game. I like that response better than what Cameron's was. I like that Mullendyke had the balls to say, like, this isn't good enough. This one hurts. This hurts. We don't want this feeling anymore. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, what he said. But to say this one's on us, to say this is on us. We lost this hockey game. They didn't beat us. We should win this game 100 times out of 100. And they didn't. And for Mullendyke to kind of step up to say that on behalf of his teammates is way better than Cameron defending the team, saying, yeah, Latvia deserves this. Yes, Latvia deserved it, but if Canada plays half a decent, a little bit better, they win the hockey game. I don't think Cameron's the guy. You're not gonna fire Team Canada coach halfway through. But my God, that was a bad look last night. That was a really bad look by Cameron and that Team Canada team last night. I couldn't believe what was going on, and that late penalty when Canada was rolling a little bit in overtime. They were on the 3-on-3, and they were having a lot of chances to score, and on it went for that too many men on the ice thing to put it up 4-on-3. That could have been real bad. It could have been end up losing anyways, but it was just a bad look, undisciplined all through the first two games, 14 penalties, I think, in the first two games, and they got to figure it out because that American team, I expect the Americans to blast Latvia by 8 or 9 goals tonight because the Americans, when they smell blood, they'll take it. And that's the big difference with the Canadians and Americans in the last number of years when it comes to this tournament. I expect the Americans to go, okay, look out. Well, let's put some of the fear of God into Canada right now and see what we can't do, because I think it's going to be a very it's a mind game with these young kids, right? They're young and they're impressionable, and they can get the confidence between the ears gets going a little bit. And then you lose a game like they lost last night. Canada's going to be on their heels a little bit going into that game on New Year's Eve. And if the Americans can lay a whipping on Latvia tonight or later on today, I think it's this afternoon, Canada's going to be gripping their sticks a little bit into sawdust or whatever these sticks are made of nowadays. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all turns out. I expect Canada to have a better game against the Germans tomorrow. They got to come out flying. They got to come out with a little bit more grit and determination, a little more that Canada flair, I guess you could say, or else it could be a real short tournament for them. Wasn't impressed. I guess let's not sugarcoat this. Canada just wasn't good enough. And they showed very selfishness last night. Last night, I thought they were very selfish, especially when it came to that shootout. I thought that shootout was embarrassing. Like, I thought that was embarrassing. I was sitting down here in the Yankee Tavern North watching that, and I could not believe what I was seeing. I was just shocked that these kids thought that they you don't want to say allowed, yeah, but they're allowed to pull that kind of crap in a shootout. I could not believe that they. Yeah, hi. How you doing there, Ryan? Exact same thing. I said the exact same thing just a second ago. That Ryan, let's see if I can show this here. Merry Christmas, Brent. Canada be gripping their sticks in fiberglass against the U.S. Just before you tuned in, Ryan, I said that exact same thing. I said that exact same thing because I think the Americans are going to kick the living tar out of Latvia, and they're going to put the fear of God into Canada for that New Year's Eve game. Then that place be rocking on New Year's Eve, and that's an old tradition. It's kind of got away from different pools, everything else, but that's going to be the whole country's going to be watching that game, and all hockey fans in the States be watching a different traditions happen on New Year's Eve. But that New Year's Eve game means a lot to Canadians, and the old butt cheeks be clenched a little bit tighter with those Canadian boys, especially with losing that game last night. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't good. Canada just didn't have it. Like I said, they got goalied a little bit. Canada's goalie was good enough. 17-year-old kid, he was good enough. And I felt bad. Like they kept showing during that shootout last night. They kept showing the goalie's parents. I got his name written down here somewhere. I should know this. Jack Ivan Kovic. I should know that Ivan Kovic. They kept showing his parents on the screen last night, and I was thinking, oh no, you just don't want that to go. And being an ex-goalie myself, I remember how my parents used to feel, especially my mother, when the shootouts and things were happening, and they go, holy Christ. But you watch that kid let his parents last night just sighing, and he did what he could. He stopped 7 out of 8. Like, you can't ask for anything more. And it gets their shootout, and this Canada just didn't play good enough, and they got to be a lot better. And by a lot, I mean a lot better than they were last night. Can they do it? Maybe. I don't have much faith in this. We talked about a couple weeks ago, and I'm not being negative, but I just don't have much faith in the Hockey Canada. You read a lot of things today that they have the wrong kids there. They have we'll get to the 94 team in a second here, but they always used to have role guys, right? They'd have guys who would do this, and they have guys who would do this, and guys who could, they were the leading scorer on their junior team that would come. Do you want to be on the checking roll? Do you want to have this? Do you want to do this? And you can have so much talent, but there's only one puck. And that's what I kind of thought I saw last night. There was a lot of selfishness out there last night, and a lot of guys trying to score 2 goals on one shot, right? Just like the 5-run the 5-run home run. There was a lot of kids trying to do that last night. They're trying to do it all themselves, being very selfish, being very me kind of that's trying to do, and it just doesn't work that way. And you have to have guys with the total team buy-in, and on it goes. And it didn't look good for Canada last night. You hope that it's going to get better. McKenna, like I said, he looked good, other than his shooter attempt, which is also quite embarrassing last night. Yeah, Canada lost Schaefer last night. Went into the post, broken collarbone. As soon as it happened, I kind of said that looks like a broken collarbone to me. It's just like, oh boy, this isn't good. It's going to be a tough one, and they're out without. They're probably kid's gonna go first overall or first rounder, top 5 this year for in the NHL draft. But getting back to Canada US on New Year's Eve, I'm sure I'll do one or two of these before we get to that. Probably do a one after the game tomorrow night or tomorrow on Monday morning. But yeah, I just didn't think they were good enough, and you saw it rolling, you saw it happening. You go, this isn't going to turn out well. You don't want to be, I told you so, but I kind of saw it coming. That Canada just you don't score if you let these teams that are weaker than you, if you let them hang around, they will. And that happened to Canada last night. It happens in this tournament every once in a while where a team out of nowhere comes out, but it's just never happened to Canada before. And that's the thing. Like you always see the Swedes lose one because too many Swedes, and then you see the U.S. lose one. You see Russia lose one to just these random teams that were in the B pool last year, and they go, holy Christ! And then for it to happen to Canada on home soil on a Friday night with the country watching, it was a bit of a shocker. And now you have a bunch of hockey prognosticators like myself thinking, oh geez, can they get this done? And will it be a chance? Can they? Will they? Maybe. We'll see. They got to come out strong against the Germans. They got to put up a big number against the Germans and score a bunch of goals and kind of give themselves a bit of a reprieve as well, not just the fans across the country, and give themselves a little bit of confidence as well. Because right now, I can't imagine the confidence level in that dressing room is very high, especially that Cowan kid. I hate to beat a dead horse, but my God, I cannot believe that shootout attempt last night. I like you start watching it and you go, what in the heck is this kid doing? And then McKenna too, like just the way they were slowly going and dang, you're like, what are you doing? Like you basically skated right into the goalie. Like I could have stopped that. And I wasn't very good. I should give myself a little bit more credit sometimes. Well, I give myself a lot of credit a lot of times, but it's I couldn't believe those shooter attempts. Like it was just a bad look. They were trying to be Instagram, TikTok stars instead of just going down and rifling the puck on net, because that always works. Like it works a lot, especially the way the goalies play nowadays. Yeah, they're bigger. But it was just that kind of like the way that they approached that shootout kind of epitomized how the hockey game went. Selfishness. Me. That's what it looked like to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. But it wasn't a good look at all. And I just thought that they could have. There should have been a better fate on a Friday night with the country watching, get everybody behind you a little bit. Because like I said before, like the World Juniors is on a bit of a downslope, and that those boys had a. That's what we got to remember. They're just boys, right? But we got to remember that they are just kids, and but they had a good chance to get a lot of people behind them last night, and they failed. I mean, they failed to get that the crowd and people thinking about the World Juniors again. Like people will watch on Saturday. So Canada was playing, in the words of Steve Valaket, Instagram hockey. That's exactly it, Brian. That's exactly it. No credentials required, Ryan. Make sure you guys check out his show. It's Belly Up Sports Network and all that stuff. But yeah, it was Instagram hockey. That's exactly it. Like that shootout thing. Like I could not believe what I was seeing. Like I thought, I was watching a Mighty Mike kid who couldn't skate, or U6, whatever they call him now. Well, a Mighty Mike kid because they stick handle slowly, and they look at the puck and didn't know what they're. That's what it looked like to me. And you just go, what? Why? Like, are you trying to embarrass the goalie? You know what embarrassed the goalie? When they're pulling the puck out and do the Relinsky breakout. That embarrassed the goalie more than that. You look like an ass. And that took me until 10:34, if that's still a swear word, 10:34 in the morning over here at 14:20 in the morning to get that out. But yeah, it doesning work. It doesn't work, and it's a short tournament. You got to make your opportunities count, and hopefully Canada can come up and pull something together against the Germans, like I said, tomorrow, and then on New Year's Eve. Should be a good one on New Year's Eve against the U.S. Starts the festivities for the night, and I'm out here in Western Canada, right? So it's pretty good on my end. The game starts at 5 o'clock. Have a few drinks, go to your New Year's party. watch the ball drop at 10, and then you're in bed before midnight and get a good night's sleep. That's how you approach New Year's Eve on when you turn 50. So that's the way it goes. We'll see how it goes on the next couple of days. But here's a little word from our friends over there at SeatGeek. Go to when you go to SeatGeek, use promo code 1420SEAT at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase.
SeatGeek presents Boomstick Lady. SeatGeek helps her find the perfect seat so she can sit where her boomsticks make the biggest boom. Oh, okay. SeatGeek handles the tickets so fans can fan.
There we go. Thanks to SeatGeek for being a sponsor of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 beer sports talking a whole lot more. 4 coffee. It's only 10:35 in the morning, but it's one of those. The wife's got plans this afternoon, so I might be able to just watch some sports here this afternoon and have a couple of pops. I'll probably end up having a nap as well. I've been liking this Christmas break thing right now, the way it's all worked out with the time off, the middle of the week, Christmas, you don't go back. Having an afternoon nap, oh man, just 15, 20 minutes nap, put the head down, nice. It's good. Like it just gets you a little bit recharged, and you don't feel bad about it. Got nowhere to go, so why not just have a nap? Anyways, going to the next World Junior moments for me, growing up watching this great tournament. Like yesterday, we had the 1991 team out in Saskatoon that kind of started the whole thing for TSN. Great tournament back there, and then you go to this one in 1994. But then they gave out the trophy out in 95 when the tournament was all said and done. But that 94 World Junior tournament, they basically was based in Red Deer, Alberta, just about 3 hours north of here. And then they play games in Calgary and Edmonton, and it's around the province. There was a lot of games going on, but the one game that comes to mind a lot was December 30th, 1994. And I cannot believe it's been 30 years since this whole thing went down. But yeah, because I knew a lot of these guys that were playing back then. I played a little bit with some of them in the summertime, and on it goes. But that 94 team was one of the best World Junior teams ever put together. Todd Harvey was the captain. Jamie Rivers, the riverboat gambler. You had Ryan Smith before he was Ryan Smith with the Oilers. Ed Jovanovski, Jamie Storr, the storekeeper, great goaltender. Had a good cup of coffee in the National Hockey League, but never really panned out. Jeff Friesen, I think he's a Hall of Fame kind of a guy. Fast skating. He's only 16 when this all went down. Alexander Daig, we all know the story of Alexander Daig. It didn't turn out too well for him in his National Hockey League career after going first overall. Just never really panned out. Didn't really like playing hockey. He was good at it. Didn't really like it very much. Jeff O'Neill, the O-Dog, was great on TSN and Overdrive. Darcy Tucker, he won how many Memorial Cups with those Kamloops Blazers teams in the 90s. Wade Redden, I got a funny story about Wade Redden. He scored his first AJHL goal on yours truly before he went on to play, because I think he was 15 years old and I was 18 or 19, and he went on to play for the Brandon Wheat Kings, and then he had a long NHL career. Marty Murray, who had 15 points in that tournament for Canada. He ended up having a little bit of an NHL career with the Flames. I think he was drafted rather high. He played but just never really panned out. Small-ish forward when the NHL was a bunch of big bruises and everything else. But that tournament was such a great tournament. You remember that year there was the NHL lockout. So a lot of these guys would have been in the National Hockey League, and a lot of the opposing teams, like their players, have been in the National Hockey League as well. So the talent level at this tournament was pretty much second to none. And the way it played out was just fantastic for the people of Alberta and people around Canada, and the way it turned out. Guys, looking some highlights earlier on today, and I remember this game vividly. It was on a Sunday afternoon, and you watch this one, and it was such a great time to watch and be a hockey fan, because it was such emotion filled, and Canada won. And I remembered, like, the Riverboat Gambler, like I said, you watch these kids, how they would jump on each other when they scored, and every time it was just so fun to watch, and the pure emotion of the country, and everybody was behind it. And like the Canada had that chance last night and just didn't get it done the way Canada got it done. And here's Wade Redden scoring in that 94 tournament. You remember that Canada was behind that game. I think it was 3-0 early or 3-1 early, and they came back and they ended up winning that game 7-5. It was just a lot of fun to watch, and everybody, you knew exactly where you were when. It was one of those ones everybody's getting a seat at a bar, everybody's gathering around and getting together. It was such a fun tournament to watch, and hopefully Canada can get to that thing. And remember this tournament back then, it was a round robin. Everybody played everybody, and you just hope for the best. You had to get a little bit of help sometimes, but Canada ended up winning all 7 of their games in that tournament. It was just so fun, and the talent and the excitement of that team. And you had buy-in from a lot of those guys. I remember listening to Overdrive, and Jeff O'Neill was almost said Paul O'Neill. He didn't play for the Team Canada hockey team. Paul O'Neill, the great Yankee, but Jeff O'Neill saying he wanted to, anything he wanted to be on that team. He told Coach Don, hey, if you want to be the 13th forward, I'll do it. I'll be the back. I'll check whatever you want me to do. I don't got to score goals. I just want to be part of this team and have a good time. And that's when hockey was a bit different back then. These guys had a lot of personality and they had a lot of fun. It was just a different realm. You hear stories of things how they used to go to Billy Bob's or in places in Red Deer and go to the bar and stuff and have a good time and have some beers and things. Like hockey is a lot different now than it was then. And is it better? No. Is the entertainment better? No. But the cast of characters is just different. Now these kids are a little bit stale. They have to be more reserved because of phones and cameras and things and stuff. It's on Twitter and Instagram and everything's going out there where these guys had some personality. So it was good to look back on these things. And like I said, 30 years ago Monday. Remember, I was in Edmonton watching that game, and we were trying to get tickets to go down to Calgary to watch that, and just couldn't finagle on a junior hockey player's salary back then, which wasn't very much, obviously, but hopefully Canada can get something going. Hopefully Ethan Cowan has a little bit of talk with himself and won't try to pull that crap again with that shootout. I'll dwell on that the day I die. Like, I will dwell on that shootout attempt the day I die. I watched it a couple of times here and there, and like, holy Christ, what an absolute disaster train wreck that was. But anyways, that's it for 14:20 in the morning on this Saturday morning. The last Saturday of 2024. Today's show, as always, brought to you by SeatGeek.com and the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420SEAT to save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Go to Belly Up Sports. Check out a lot of great podcasts, such as my guy that was on today there, Ryan, over at No Credential Required. Always good to chat with Ryan, to help to get him on the different shows and stuff. We've got some different collaborations I have planned in the new year to keep this crazy ride going. Anyways, that's it for the show today. Make sure you guys have a great day. Go out and enjoy your Saturday. Listen to more podcasts. Put them in your ears as you're going around, having a good time this holiday season. And I got a good question before I sign off here. When are you supposed to start saying Happy New Year? Because I think it's on about the 29th. You know, you got a few days between Christmas and New Year's where you don't really have to say anything. You say Happy Holidays. But when does Happy New Year's start? I think it's about the 29th, and it goes to about the 5th. That's my thought. And then that's it. And then that's it for me. Like that's you got about a 7-day stretch in there where Happy New Year, thanks, bye, see ya. If anybody says Happy New Year by the second, third week of February, you weren't that close. You weren't going to see them anyways. That's my thoughts. Let me know yours. Go to our Facebook accounts and Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts or whatever we got going on, all of 1420. And then the new merch will be out in the new year too as well. So make sure you get yourself some new sweatshirts, hoodies, and hats and stuff and support the show. That's it. 14:20 in the morning. And remember, everybody, it doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with the sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.